Hello world, this is Hack the Gamer, and I just got back from seeing the new Superman movie, and gotta say, it's better than what I thought it was gonna be. Let's talk about it. So let me explain real quick what I mean by better than what I thought it was gonna be. Like when I first saw the trailer, I was kind of like, okay, this Superman seems to be kind of newer to the role of Superman, and seems like he's always getting beat. Laying in the dirt every 5 minutes. So I was kind of like, I don't know if I want to see Superman beat up all the time, man. Like, when it first was announced, I was super thrilled, super excited about it. Even I bought the tickets in advance. I was still excited about it, even after the trailers came out. But the more I looked at it, the more I kind of researched on the film I did, and I saw like a couple reviews, non-spoiler reviews, and this is a non-spoiler, by the way, no spoilers. I was kind of like, man, I don't know. See, things that I was hoping wouldn't happen seem to be probably may happen in the movie. So, but yeah, no, man, I was pleasantly surprised, man. Like, I really enjoyed the movie. I feel like it was a good movie and a good like live action. Like, it seemed like a comic book page coming to life. It seemed like animated movie. Superman's Justice League. It seemed like an animated come to life, right? So animated series come to life. So I really appreciated that aspect of the movie, and I think James Gunn does a good job making it work when it comes to that portion of it. Man, I feel like he really did some bold things in this as well, when it comes to the characters. And I think so. The parents, as far as the Kents, I wasn't really fond of them, man. Like, I don't know, this iteration, they were carrying and everything like that, and they did good as far as when it came to the nurturing side and stuff like that, but it seemed a little, I don't know, man, it didn't do it for me. And also, Jor-El and Lara, his parents from Krypton, they did things differently in how the story is told. But I thought it was interesting, and I appreciate James Gunn for daring to be different. The movie stars David Corn Sweat as Superman, and I'm like, at first, okay, because I mean, those who are fans of Christopher Reeve, those who are fans of Man of Steel, and Henry Cavill, that's a whole another thing. We could kind of, be set in our ways when it comes to seeing how we believe Superman should be depicted according to the comic books you read, according to the movies we've seen, according to the animated series. So of course in our head we're kind of like, man, he's not supposed to be like this. He's supposed to be like that. He's not supposed to do that or get whooped like that. Man, no, we need Silver Age Superman or Golden Age. He shouldn't be getting beat by stuff like this. So we want to see Superman do Superman stuff. And I gotta say, he does Superman stuff in this movie, and I was pleasantly surprised, because it made, the trailers kind of make it seem like he's just going to get whooped in this whole situation. And it makes sense how they did it. Like, we'll see in the movie as it unfolds why James Gunn chose to depict Superman in this way. Because he's freshly starting out, so he's still got things to learn. He's like 3 years in to him being Superman, so there's things for him to still, he has to gain more experience along the way, and there's things that he needs to do to be more solidified in his role as Superman. Rachel Brosnahan, Clark and Lois, they do a great job as far as chemistry wise. They're believable. Like, Lois and Clark back in the day with Christopher Reeve Superman, they were believable as a couple. And I did appreciate their on-screen chemistry and things, so that they didn't seem like it was forced. Like, I kind of Man of Steel, I went back and watched that before I went to watch this one, and it kind of seemed like it was a little bit, forced with their relationship. Like, it was less believable when it came to that depiction of Clark and Lois. But I mean, Rachel Brosnahan did a great job in the role. I feel like Lois Lane's always like, like investigative, and we want to see her do that type of investigative, I'm a ask the tough questions type of person. That's how she is. She's like no nonsense, get to the point type of person, you know what I'm saying? Loving, caring, still love Superman, caring, but it's no nonsense and gets straight to the point and asks the tough questions. So I appreciate that. But I was just worried that he was going to be like a man-child the whole time, you know what I'm saying? And he's a little bit more emotional than I do like to see Superman, because I like like if you go back and watch, like they're dated now, but they still like it's still like, man, this is. I appreciate how Christopher Reeve put together Superman and Clark Kent, and he did both roles great. I feel like David Cornsweet did great with Superman and Clark Kent in this movie as well. So yeah, so like I said, it's gonna take some time for me to get used to this depiction of him being more emotional and more, I guess human. Really, I mean, we don't see him as just. We don't want to just see him as like a robot, with no emotion whatsoever. But I don't want to see him laying in the dirt crying all the time about stuff either. But and that leads me to Lex Luthor, where I feel like with Nicholas Hoult. I think he's a great actor, you know what I'm saying? I think he did what he could with the role as far as when it comes to the script and stuff like that. Now, they thought his Lex in this universe and in the new DCU going forward should be, but I feel like he was a little bit too much of a man-child. I feel like he's a little bit too crybaby-ish. Like Lex, he got some flair to him. He has some, we call it panache. He has some... charisma, you know what I'm saying? I feel like he didn't really have charisma. He was just more so like a crybaby in this, you know what I'm saying? He's still a butthole, and that's Lex Luthor too, He's not supposed to be likable, but he's supposed to be a villain to where you can respect, like, yeah, he's a billionaire, and he, his reason for not liking Superman is justified because he feels like he's trying to take over the world and things like that, and he just makes him feel insecure about himself, and like, man, he could just go off the rails, and how can we really trust this being from another planet? So we can appreciate that aspect about Lex Luthor, and I feel like that's depicted here too in this movie. But ultimately, I feel like he was just, man, like, I mean, if you go back, I mean, who was it? Gene Hackman, and he was Lex Luthor in the Christopher Reeve movies, 1978. I always reference that because to me that's the height of like that. They got it right. The first two movies, they definitely got it right when it comes to Superman 97, and I think it was 80. What was 80? I forgot where the second one came out. Third one, not so much. Second one or fourth one, I like the fourth one. Didn't like the third one, but the fourth one, The Quest for Peace, I like that movie. I like the little electrical dude, but yeah, that didn't do good either. But first two are pretty close to like almost flawless movies. Of course, it's nitpicky things, and if you go back and watch it now, it's definitely dated. And it's like, oh, this kind of cheesy stuff, but yeah, no. Ultimately, they did really good with those movies for what they had and the work with it back in the day, but yeah, I think they pull it off, man. Like, it's a good movie. It's an enjoyable movie. Take the family, enjoy it. And I think it does set it up well. I was worried about the cameos in here, the Mr. Terrific, the Hawk Girl, and Green Lantern. We could forgive his horrible haircut because he was kind of dope in the movie. But that's how he is, Guy Gardner. That's how he looks in the comic books. He's one of the stronger Green Lanterns according to the comic books. So. He was cool in the movie, Mr. Terrific. I feel like he stole the show. He's a cool dude. I didn't realize how cool he was. You know what I'm saying? I remember him in certain Justice League movies and things like that. An animated series. I was like, okay, he's cool. He's a tech guy, but he does some cool stuff in the movie. Metamorpho does some stuff in the movie. Hawk Girl. I mean, she's there. I feel like they could do more with her role. She kind of like screams a lot for whatever reason. I mean, she's a Hawk Girl, so that's a part of her like warrior stuff, but maybe a little less of that and more of like character development, because she is a cool character. You know what I'm saying? They're cool. Their backstory is cool. So I know he couldn't do all of that in one movie in 2 hours, but just a little bit more from her would have been good. But ultimately, like I said, I was pleasantly surprised how good of a movie it was overall, like how he tied things together. And Krypto, man, was clutch. Like, I'm not a huge Krypto the dog. Like, I don't see Superman movies to be like, I can't wait to see Krypto, but he did good, man. He was definitely a clutch character, a fun, character, and those who love dogs will like his character, I feel like. And I think, younger people will be like, man, gravitate towards Krypto the dog, but he tied in the reason behind everything, man. And I feel like when I think back, I'm like, okay, I feel like they could have did certain things differently. Like, this opening scene, they could have explained a little bit more of what was going on. They had text on the screen that explained it, but I feel like they could have did a little bit differently how they set it up. Maybe some shots of like memory, kind of like how Superman, going back to the 1978 Superman, how they did in part 2, where they kind of gave a synopsis or a recap of what happened in the first movie. They don't need to do that. Like, I feel like they didn't need to do like a lot. Maybe just like hear bits and pieces here and there while the text was playing and stuff like that. Maybe at some point, but but it makes sense, man. Like, you know, I was concerned because I feel like I was going to see my favorite superhero in the DCU, number one favorite superhero. It's him, Batman, and Wonder Woman, and then the Flash and Green Lantern. Yeah. But my favorite in the DC universe, get pummeled the whole movie. You see what I'm saying? So I feel like you could rest easy that it makes sense why that's happening. But yeah, man, overall, I feel like he dared to be different, which I can appreciate. You know what I'm saying? As a creative person, trying different things and not trying to change the source material too much can be helpful. I feel like at first I was like, I don't know if he should have did it like this, but then I was like, it could work because it's a different type of story arc that we haven't really explored too much, apart from like Injustice and things like that, when it comes to Superman, his arc and things like that. But there's a mid credit and there's a post credit, not the best, or don't really set up anything for the future. I will say that, but it's still good to see, man. Might as well wait. You know, you watch the 2 hour long movie, might as well wait 10 more minutes to get through the credits to see those scenes. But now it's an enjoyable film, man. Like, you know, I typically don't like to rate movies first watch because it's out of theater. Like you're still processing what happened. You're still trying to, you know, yeah, they could have did this, but you try to nitpick it a little bit. Like I watched it first with like a critic type of mindset, and I want to go back and watch it with a more I went in there open, knowing that this is going to be a different type of Superman that we haven't seen. He's more inexperienced. He may be a little bit more emotional. So he's a punk rock, you know what I'm saying, Superman. That's different, you know what I mean? Some of the music choices could have been a little different too. I feel like it could have enhanced certain scenes and things, but punk rock Superman is different. But he was more grounded. And he's more relatable. There's some political stuff in here and undertones that you could pick apart and be like, oh yeah, see, they try to this agenda. But if you go back and look at all superheroes and movies, there's always some type of, you know, purpose that could be looked at as a political or, you know, something that kind of mirrors society and things like that. You could always kind of pick that up when it comes to the superheroes, man. They always were relative to the time, you know what I'm saying, especially with like Marvel stuff, DC too, but they intentionally made it to where these superheroes could live among us, like so we could put ourselves in that world. So if you look for stuff, you will find certain things, and if you really look into it, you could be like, see, I knew they. Just go enjoy the movie. That's the main thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know we don't want to get preached to and things thrown in our face when it comes to messages, but ultimately I feel like it was a good movie that didn't try to beat us in the head with a message, but other than the human kindness part of Superman, and he's more relatable, and people were, you know, helping him out and stuff like that. So it's like, it was good to see that people were trying to help each other out, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a reminder of that aspect. As a society, it's important to have empathy and things like that, man, the best we can, especially in crazy times. But he did some cool stuff in the movie, man. I was pleasantly surprised, like I said, because I went in there with an open mind, like this is different, but also, you know, trying to fight this is gonna be whack because they're gonna make him get beat up the whole time, man. So for me, it wasn't like that, you know. And in my opinion, I think it was a good movie. There were some nitpicky things, yeah, and maybe we could do things differently when it comes to some depiction of the characters. I mean, Jimmy Olsen was cool. We didn't really need to see a whole lot of him, but I feel like we've seen more than what we needed to. But he was good. Like, I like that kid as an actor. I forgot his name, but he's a good actor, and he fit the role. And I guess he did make sense to the storyline too. But yeah, man, out of theater reaction. Hopefully you guys enjoy the movie when you go see it, and I feel like it's an enjoyable time, man. It's hard to like give ratings. Like I asked my son, like he's a big superhero, like he's a comic book historian, like he knows comic books better than me, and I have like a huge collection. But and I asked him, and he's like, man, yeah, I enjoyed it. It's probably one of the best Superman movies I've seen. I was like, okay, and he's seen all of them too. The Christopher Reeve on, you know, Henry Cavill on up. So even I don't think he's seen Superman Returns too. What, Christopher Rock, I think his name is. So he's seen all of them. So yeah, man. I mean, it's like I said, it's kind of hard to give it like that 7 out of 10 and things like that. But you know, I probably am teetering on the 7.5, 8 mark. You know what I'm saying? Because there's things that you know, as far as music or certain depiction of characters, I probably would have did differently. But like I said, I think he's daring to be different, to set up a different, you know, to challenge what we think Superman is and who he should be. We know he's a symbol of hope and things like that, but he's trying to change certain things that could benefit the story going forward in this new DCU. So I'm excited to see what they have going forward, man. And there's certain characters in here that you may be excited to see. But yeah, I enjoyed the movie, man. So Superman 2025. Have you seen it yet? Are you looking forward to seeing it? Let me know in the comments, man. So Hack the Gamer signing off. Till next time. Peace.
Perfect.